So I made a movie. A movie that we are going to watch momentarily in this frigid February evening with the snow still on the ground. I could consume this with that mouthful of popcorn I just took. That was a mistake. Don't eat a mouthful of popcorn right before you're about to talk for a length of time, right before you're about to debut your movie, a movie the existence of which is only possible because over several decades, a handful of courageous people who did not know each other, who were all endowed with the exact same strand of DNA that accentuated their courageous natures, that allowed them to recognize that they were not happy with their lives, and that they would not settle for this existence, that they would be encouraged to look for the diamond in their rough existence, and as such would make the perilous journey across the ocean from Europe to what was rapidly becoming the not-so-free world in search of solace, in search of home, in a place that they eventually found in a country with such a can-do attitude that they almost put it in their own name, a place called Canada, where these people settled and had children, and whose children then had children. One of these children, I myself have now had a child, baby girl, who is now, for those of you at home keeping score, 2 3/4 years old. And it was exactly 1/2 American and 1/2 Canadian, though which half of her is which, I cannot say, because her mother, my wife, is 100% Canadian. It was very important to her that our child should become Canadian as quickly as possible, and so it happened that almost within the delivery room itself, it was as if Canadian immigration was in there, and it's almost as if I had to elbow them aside to cut our daughter's umbilical cord, even as they were establishing a new cord made out of red tape and papers to a country to the north. We applied for our daughter's passport when she was just 2 weeks old, which means that she will have this passport photo of her at 2 weeks until she is at the age of 5. And I know it's very commonplace for people to complain about their passport photos before showing it to anyone and be like, it's not a good photo, it's not a good photo. As if the fates are always conspiring against us to have the wind and the way we woke up and rolled off the bed and the way we hats we happened to wear that made our hair take a certain shape, and better this than admitting that we just have bad hair, and we'll complain about our pictures. But when you see my daughter's passport photo, you will realize that yours is a glamour shot. Not only is the photograph itself of poor quality, the flash is overexposed the entire picture, and our baby's eyes are closed because she's 2 weeks old and is asleep, but it's as if she's responding to the flash. But worse than this is the shape of her head. I don't know if all babies are like this. I have nothing to compare ours with, but her head as a baby, was so perfectly round, as if it weren't created by the hand of God, but rather by the hand of Charles Schultz. She could have been a living body double for Charlie Brown, but of course her head did not pop into this perfectly round shape until she was several months old. It took that long for her head to find its roundness, deformed as it was, as all babies' heads are, by the perilous journey that they must make through the narrowest of canals when they're being born, which means her head came out sort of, there's no other word for it, squished really, as if her head were more a melon that had been sitting at the bottom of a crate of melons that itself was at the bottom of a shipping container of melon crates. Her head looked like a donut as seen from the side. And every time we'd go across international border into Canada, the same exact thing would happen. Like clockwork, an immigration officer would look at her passport, he'd look at our daughter, and every single time they would just have to say, all right, go ahead, come in. All right, go ahead. And my wife, Vanessa, she'd have to quickly massage my neck, just to hold me back. She'd have to squeeze my arm just to let me know, don't make a scene here. Because, of course, my instinct, as she knew, was I wanted to stop the proceedings, to stop security, to stop immigration, to hold everything up and say, excuse me, sir, are you implying that this photograph of my daughter actually looks like this child that you are allowing into your country? The only blessing of this lockdown of COVID has been that we've been unable to use her passport for more than a year now. And I could hope for this reason alone that we are not allowed to travel for another 2 1/4 years until she reaches the age of 5 and is allowed once again to get a new passport photo. But my wife, Vanessa, has been suffering from what many people have been suffering during these 11 months of this quarantine, is that she misses her family. So many of us are missing our grandparents who are growing older, our parents who are getting on, who perhaps are in fact passing on. That we're sad for them to be missing our children, their grandchildren who are growing up. We're missing other kids growing up. Vanessa is very desperate to see her grandmother, her mother, her brother, his newborn, his wife, her mother's husband, and other associated Canadian special guest stars. Her anxiety is increased, of course, by the fact that there is an international border separating our country, the United States, from her country, Canada, a border which people like myself, who is not Canadian, is not allowed to pass. And there's an increased level of fear when you think that should something go wrong, as if everything hasn't already gone wrong, that you won't be able to just drive and check in on your loved ones. And so Vanessa approached me and she's like, Martin, I have to go to Canada. They have to see our daughter, and I have to see them. Just pop in for like a quick, just like a 2-week visit. But of course, to go from the United States to Canada, you have to quarantine for 14 days, which would mean that at the end of her 2-week quarantine, indeed, she would be able to see her grandmother, her mother, her brother, and other associated special Canadian guest stars. But it would only be for as long as it would take for them to pick her up where she was quarantining, to drive her directly back to the airport. So, of course, 2 weeks with quarantine really means 4 weeks. But who wants to quarantine in the place for as long as they're actually going to be in the place? So 2 weeks really means 3 weeks, which of course really means 5 weeks, which really means there may be no upper limit to my anxiety at the notion of them being released out into the world. We have been so perfectly quarantined here in Montauk. Montauk, perhaps, I'm going to say it more than any other place in the world. It just naturally quarantines the people who live here. Little known fact, I went to Bolivia and I traveled across a salt lake that was only 6 inches deep for its entirety, which meant that it was absolutely flat and still, like a mirror reflecting the sky above it. So as you went through it, you had clouds above you reflecting, looking like clouds below you. It felt like you were flying, even though you were driving in a Jeep through water across a lake that stretched to the horizon in every single direction around you, as we made our way to a hotel made completely out of salt. And within the Jeep with me, there were 3 Americans that I had met at a hostel in La Paz, and one of them was Teddy Roosevelt the Fifth, a direct descendant of our former president. Now, I bring this up not because it has anything to do with what I'm talking about today, but only because, first of all, any opportunity I have to say all those words I just said about the Salt Lake, I will shamelessly take that opportunity. But more than that, I want to establish that I have a personal connection to Teddy Roosevelt the first when I tell you that at the end of the Spanish-American War, when he returned from his escapades in Cuba with a huge cavalry of 30,000 men, his Rough Riders, a successful campaign against the Spanish, they returned to the United States riddled with tropical infectious diseases, which meant that they couldn't just come back into the population of the United States. They would start an epidemic. And so where did they put these 30,000 men? Well, right here in Montauk, where they lived in tents to wait out the disease as it would either burn through and kill them or it would burn itself out and they would survive. And in this way, Montauk has now for over 100 years either been quarantining us to protect America from us or to protect us from the diseases that have been infecting America. And so now to allow Vanessa and Child to leave this protective bubble, you can imagine what sort of anxiety that would prompt inside of a man such as myself, if indeed I were inclined to be anxious about disease. I'm just going to tell you this, like after 11 months of not getting the disease, at this point, it's very hard to imagine I'm going to get it now. I mean, I'm not denying the science of it. I'm not going to stop taking precautions, but I just feel like, you know what I mean? To get it now? It'd be bad in all the normal ways, but on top of it, you'd be like, oh, come on. It's so 2020, and I know we can still get it. I fully accept that, but I'd like to believe that this sort of the protection that we've garnered ourselves over 11 months of being here in Montauk, a protective bubble will travel with us as we go out into the world. So I'm not really afraid of them getting the disease. I just can't really feel. What I'm really afraid of them is just for them going out into the world, which I understand. I see the news and the newspapers, you know what I mean? There's crises, there always are, but generally it seems like, things are still functioning. Everything hasn't completely fallen apart, and yet I can't let go of the feeling that we are in a state of post-apocalypse. I walk out to the one artery, the one highway that connects us to the rest of the world, and I look at the cars and they're driving so fast, and I'm sure they're driving just as quickly as they always have, but we don't have a car. We haven't been in an automobile barely in months, so I'm out of sync with the pace of how things move, and I no longer see these as convenient modes of transportation, these automobiles. I see them as missiles being driven by people who do not have the training to operate these vehicles. And I know they don't, because they have the exact same training that I have, that we all received as teenagers when we took our driver's tests under conditions that do not represent the real world. If you want to have a real driver's test, you should have the examiner in the passenger seat next to you, and as you were trying to negotiate a four-way intersection, as you were trying to parallel park, they should insist that you have your stereo on at full blast as they bark at you that they do not like the music, and you should be able to hit that scan button perfectly without taking your eyes off the road. And of course, the whole time they should be texting you, and they should expect you to be able to text them back, but they will grade you on how well you are at hiding your phone from the rest of the cars driving by you. And ideally, these texts should be pretty provocative. You should be getting texts as the testees, such as things like, "Why don't you love me?" And you'll be like, "I thought we were just taking a test." There should be dick pics flying through from the examiner that he's taking right next to you. If it's a woman, she should be twerking, doing little videos of yourself. And you, if you can still remember to put on your blinker as you change lanes, well then God bless. Go out into the world and drive. But until then, I'm not comfortable with all these automobiles. I know. I've been secluded for too long. I see planes flying overhead. I get it. People are still traveling places. I don't understand how. I thought we were locked down, but I can't help but look up and just think that they've all been hijacked, Not by terrorists, but by people who are clad in mismatched athletic padding and mohawks and leather pants and fur-rimmed collars, looking like they are extras from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, or if not, then from somewhere beyond Burning Man, or if not, then at least Thunderdome in Burning Man. And keeping in the spirit of Mad Max, they haven't hijacked these planes for terror. No, they've hijacked it for the oil. And so they'll take good care of these giant metal birds. They will land them gently behind hidden tarmacs, behind Chevron stations, where cars will surreptitiously pull up and quickly fill their tanks, not with gasoline, but with jet fuel, which is why they are driving so fast. But Vanessa has made it clear to me that what's riding on this trip to Canada for her is her mental health. And as anybody who's in a long-term relationship knows, that means we're really talking about my mental health. And so I feel I have no choice but to give my blessing. And it's amazing, really, how quickly that I had filled almost to the top of anxiety at the notion of them leaving for 5 weeks. So quickly I'm able to siphon that off into a different vat called kind of excited. The notion of being on my own for 5 weeks. And I know you're thinking, like, is 11 months of isolation not been enough for you? But for those of you with children, know when you have a child, you are never alone. And so the notion of isolation within isolation, of being able to decide what I want to do morning, noon, and night, I suddenly understand I have the opportunity here to actually realize the American dream, which, let's face it, is exactly the same as the Canadian dream, which means 5 weeks of me, as I envision it, sitting squarely in the middle of a couch, beneath a blanket, snug, a blanket made not of cotton or wool or camel hair or goose down feathers, but rather one made of 100% unadulterated buttered popcorn. Such an accumulation of popcorn that it goes right up to my neck on the couch. It's so thick, I'm able to rest my chin right onto the popcorn, underneath which I'm so cozy. I don't have any clothes on. Why wear clothes underneath a blanket of popcorn that is not only giving me warmth, but is giving me sustenance as I eat my way through it? And eventually, of course, should I come to my naked belly exposing the skin to the cold outside air, I need merely reach across to the microwave, plug in 3, maybe 3.5 minutes later, I will have a hot, steaming bag of kernels that I can explode upon my belly, the spot beneath which soon all this popcorn, once masticated, will find its final resting space within my belly, as over the span of 5 weeks, I work my way towards the final end point of human evolution. Spoiler alert here, people, okay? For those of you that don't want to know how this ends for our species, plug your ears at this point, though honestly, I don't know how you haven't figured it out already. Have you never been to a supermarket? Have you never picked any product off the shelf and looked at the list of ingredients and seen prominently displayed in every single list the word corn? The plant that we have most cultivated on this planet, or one could say we are the organism that has most been cultivated by this plant. We have been for a long time working our way towards an endpoint of evolution, starting with Cro-Magnon to Neanderthal to Homo sapien to 5 weeks from now ending finally with Homo and whatever is Latin for corn, as I will have reached the point of absolute stasis, the same externally as I am internally, popcorn all the way through, to the extent that when I pass gas, you know how it will sound, much like that microwave sounded at the beginning of the show, as I will produce pure kernels of popcorn already buttered, all ready to eat. And it is at this point I will, with great satisfaction, be able to unplug the microwave and feel the accomplishment that every next stage in evolution feels, knowing particularly in this instance that I have just lowered humanity's electricity bills. As I sit there on the couch and through this very device through which I am communicating with you right now, I sit and watch not just every single movie that I have ever wanted to see, but every single movie that I've only barely, didn't even really, but I a little bit wanted to see, which is different than never wanted to see. There must be some authentic shred of curiosity that I have for a film to be able to sit through it. There must be something I've always wondered a little bit about, even though I've known it's probably terrible, like Pauly Shore movies. If you've never heard of Pauly Shore, well, there's a reason. You know what I mean? He was very popular in the 90s. I don't know. I never saw any of his movies. Every time one would come out, I'd see an ad for it on the subway platform in New York, and I'd turn to the person next to me, and I'd be like, who would spend one moment of their precious existence watching this dreck? But sure enough, the next year, another Pauly Shore movie would come out. And I'd be like, who in their right minds? And the person next to me would be like, I told you last year, I don't know. And look, we all experience insomnia at points, you know? We all wake up in the middle of the night and we lie there and we're like, why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? But you're awake, and who knows what it is, but it very well could be because of questions like this, just that for decades now have been nibbling at the back of my consciousness, just sort of asking in a very quiet voice because it doesn't want to take up too much space, but you know, I can't sleep sometimes, just making me wonder to myself, well, is there something to Pauly Shore movies? Maybe it's time to find out. Look, this is the only opportunity that we have these days to explore that urge that is activated in us by that strand of DNA that we are endowed with because of our ancestors who self-selected themselves and interbred to make that DNA strand stronger, that makes us want to be explorers of the world, that makes us want to look for the diamond in the rough, terrible pop cultural landscape of North America, hoping that we might find a terrible movie that's a gem, so that we might then post about it on Facebook, so that someone else might watch the movie and then in response be like, dude, exclamation mark, spelled with so many U's, each vowel a jolt to our endorphins as we sit back in our chair and consider, I am living my best life. And yet I know that I am a terrible person to embark on this journey through the dreck of American culture, because the truth is, besides the movies I like, I don't really like movies. You know, I'm a terrible person to watch movies with, because I don't like any of them, and nobody has to watch more movies with me than me, and always it's the same, you know. Not long into a movie that I hate, the screen becomes something like a mirror, and the loathing I'm feeling towards it is reflected on myself, and if I can find my hands within the blanket of popcorn, I will bury my head into them, and I will scream into the kernels, what am I doing with my life? And so, to hedge against this eventuality, I thought to myself, what if, in addition to watching every single movie I've always wanted to see, and every single movie I've never really, barely, like kind of like I have a little, you know, hint of curiosity wanted to see, I also make a movie, something I've never really wanted to do. I'm not the kind of theater maker who goes to the cinema and looks up on the silver screen and thinks to himself, someday, you know, everything I'm doing in the theater is a stepping stone towards that event. No, I like the theater. I like this. I like live performance, even in this strange, perverted form that it's taken over the last 11 months. I mean, even it's fascinating what it's become, right? We're having this version of live, interactive, communal, theatrical experience that has never before been possible in human history. It's only because of the convergence of disease and technology that we are now able to be in the same virtual room, having a one-on-one intimate experience, but aware that there's lots of us having these one-on-one moments at the exact same time. We are the explorers of this avenue of interactive entertainment. We are the ones figuring out what works and what doesn't work. It's very exciting for those of us who care about such things. You know, I mean, this is exciting. But I even got an MFA, okay, from Columbia University in playwriting. That's how much I like theater. And you know what a graduate degree in playwriting gets you? Nothing. It doesn't get you anything. It's not like when you graduate, you know, there's like they're like jobs, you know what I mean? You know what a job fair in playwriting, it's indistinguishable from an empty parking lot. You know, like when they gave me the diploma, when I graduated, the person giving me it, he whispered in my ear, he was like, I guess you like playwriting. And I said back, I knew it. And that was it. That's all the degree gets you. It's like an announcement to the world that you like playwriting. You know what I mean? And the world doesn't care. The world doesn't care. You know what I mean? And it's not a surprise. You know, I went into this willingly. You know, theater is the ugly, malformed, like, stepbrother of the handsome movies and television. You know, if this was like some sort of like high school analogy, you know, it's like you'd have the prom, and there'd be like movie and TVs going to the prom, you know, and everybody looks beautiful and amazing, and you could go to the prom, but instead you're like, no, I'm not gonna go to the prom. And what you do instead, you sneak into the school, the high school at night, and you go to the cafeteria, and you go to way back in the cafeteria where like the underclassmen eat, like way back to where the kindergartners eat, and you go underneath their tables and you look for bits of applesauce and you stick it in your mouth with your fingers, and then you see other people doing the same with little juice boxes they're trying to get the last drops at, and you're like, you too, huh? And they're like, yeah, you know what I mean? They don't really ever, you know, that's what theater is. You know, no one cares, and again, it's fine. I know that, you know. I really had the point driven home. One year, a number of years back, I went to a great theater festival, a fringe festival in Orlando, Florida, and it's very exciting. It's wonderful there, and when you're at the festival, everyone's very excited about theater, and you're walking around wondering, do people know about my show, and I crossed the street to go to a 7-Eleven to buy a newspaper because there was a review of my one-man storytelling show in the Orlando Sentinel. And I placed the paper upon the counter, and I said to the man behind it, I was like, my show's being reviewed in there today, and I did not expect him to care, and he lived up to my expectations. But the woman behind me, she was like, oh, you're in a movie? And I was like, oh, no. It's a show that I'm doing, like a theater. See through the window? See through the window over there? There's a big theater festival happening there, and there's lots of different shows, and my show is just one of them. And her expression was indistinguishable from an ice sheet in Greenland. It was featureless. I had no idea where I had lost her with what I was saying, and so I sort of backed up, and I was like, you know, like theater, like there's a theater fest, there's a lot of theater going, and still nothing on her face. And so I was like, it's like theater, it's nothing. I was like, like a room, and like nothing. I was like, and people sit on one end of the room, and then someone like me comes in at the other end of the room and stands on a stage, and nothing. I'm like, stands on like a it's like raised up a little, not like levitating, but like on a platform, and then the person, me, then talks for like an hour about, well, frankly, who knows what, really about anything. I've seen how audiences look at me. They're very kind, but they're always looking at me like, well, he seems to know what he's talking about, and we don't have anywhere else to be right now, so proceed. And I don't know if you've ever had the experience of having to break down what you do in the most basic, simple terms, and then as you are doing it, you realize it sounds awful. An assessment that is mirrored in her expression, which is no longer at all like Greenland. And she's pointing through that same window, and she's like, that's happening there? And I was like, yes. So don't go there. Run away any direction. And she was like, bless you. And I was like, I'm just trying to do my part, which didn't happen. That last part didn't happen. But me explaining to her what theater was, the seats, and me on a stage and talking, that all literally happened. And I was leaving the 7-Eleven with my newspaper, and I turned to wave at the man who didn't care, who had bought the newspaper from. And as I was walking out, the woman, she called after me a perfect coda to this story, a line that is so perfect you're gonna think, no, she didn't say that, particularly because I just made up a little part there at the end, but I owned up to it. And so you gotta believe me, what she said as I walked out of that 7-Eleven was, good luck with your movie. And I was like, you know what I said? I said, thanks. And I walked back across the street to the Fringe Festival that I had only left minutes ago, wondering, does anybody here know about my theater show? And now minutes later, I'm returning wondering, does anybody know about theater? Which, again, I know. It's not surprised. You get reminded of it. You forget a little, and you're reminded again. When I was getting the MFA, everybody would say to me, how's the screenwriting coming along? And I'd be like, it's not screenwriting. It's playwriting, but here we are, 2021, and joke's on me, right? Because every single play now takes place on a screen, and playwriting has, by default, become screenwriting. So, why fight it? Let's make a movie, I decided. And let's make it part of the same performance series that I've been doing since August. Let's try a different medium, and let's have it be born out of the exact same, the quest, the search for some sort of a community within this fractured existence that we are all forced to be living in. This sense of isolation, and how is it affecting us? And can we come together in this virtual space where we can't actually see each other? Let's have the movie reflect those same anxieties, however they're going to come out. Let's have it be just as sincere and just as ridiculous, but let's have it be a real movie. And as soon as I realized like I was going to make a movie, I got very excited, because we all know that every pop cultural phenomena that isn't already a movie has its status forever made permanent in the firmament, in the heavens of American pop culture. It implies to the patrons that there is a boardroom and there is people standing in front of PowerPoint presentations with laser pointers, and there's cronuts on the table, and they are all in agreement that this pop cultural phenomena has legs, and that it would people would open their wallets towards it in another medium, which of course they all agree is the best way for people to display their appreciation for a piece of art. This is them saying this, not me. And let's make this thing that isn't a movie part of the family by adding a colon after it and then 2 words, the movie. And I thought to myself, well, what if we bypass the boardroom? What if we bypass the PowerPoint presentation, the laser pointers, as much as it kills me, bypass the cronuts, bypass this ever being a pop cultural phenomena, and just go right to the part where we forever add our name to the heavens of American and Canadian pop culture. And so here we have it. After 5 intense weeks of making this movie, 5 weeks during which I learned it takes a lot of work to make a movie. Some might think 5 weeks is not very long to make a whole movie, but most movies have a crew of hundreds of people, maybe thousands. I don't know. I have a crew of me. That's it. When you see me in front of the camera and you wonder who's behind the camera, it's me. That's it. It's someone used to doing solo theater, now doing a solo movie that I worked on with such intensity that you know how many movies I saw, whether they were ones I wanted to see or only kind of 0 movies. Just made this movie entirely, and so here we have it tonight. It's red carpet premiere, not the kind of premiere that I would have imagined if I imagined having a premiere, if I imagined making a movie, if I imagined owning a red carpet that I could unfurl. But I've never been to a movie premiere, but I imagine it's the closest that the cinema ever gets to the theater, right? Because the actual makers of the film at the premiere are sitting in the room with strangers who are consuming it, who know nothing about it, and they are each feeling each other's energy. And though we are not in the same room after 11 months, we have all gotten used to this virtual room that we find ourselves in, and through some sort of combination of psychic energy or self-delusion, we have become accustomed to feeling each other's energy. And so I am excited to watch this film now with you, which we are going to do in just a moment. After one last thing, I'm not going to come on and speak again at the end of the movie, okay? I'm just going to let the movie sit and speak to itself, and so I have to say the thing that I'm obligated to say at the end of every single show, because, this is my job. And it disappeared when live performance disappeared, and I put a work into trying to create this community between us now. And so if you enjoy this, if you want to support this, then please consider donating. If you are unable to donate, then just indicate to me some other way that you are on board for this. Click like or share or tell someone about it or whatever. But thank you very much for being there. And know that, we all are watching this. I'm watching this as well, and I hope you have your popcorn ready. I've got my popcorn right down there in the snow. It's doing its part to melt the ground around me. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I introduce to you right now the movie. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Remember when there were parties? People all in the same room, each putting on some kind of performance. I always tried to stay to the end, as much to be a good audience member as to keep the show going. This is before everyone was flattened into 2 dimensions and zoomed into pixelated boxes on screen, terribly framed and poorly lit. In the old days, a shindig presented the very real possibility of physical contact. A handshake hello, a hug goodbye, a can I get you a drink, a would you mind terribly if I kissed you, and somewhere in there, the inevitable question of, so, what do you do? And so I tell them, I'm a storyteller. And I wish there were a better word for it because we're all storytellers, and so I have to clarify. I tell stories on stage, in a theater, to an audience of living, breathing, physically present people, none of which exists these days. Not until the scientists magically fix this. No theaters, no audience, no physically present strangers, and their recently unanswerable question of, what exactly is it that you now do? Maybe this is too revealing of my character, but I've never enjoyed the expression dance as if no one is watching, sing as if no one is listening. Here's a true story. It may not seem relevant, but that's okay. I'm telling it as if no one's listening anyway. We have 2 characters. 1, a U.S. military satellite, the LES-5, launched in 1967, and 2, a U.S. military base and its 1960s massive radar installation. Both were built with absolute clarity of purpose to allow for communication and connection during a worldwide calamity. But then, in short order, both were abandoned. The LES-5 was moved to a graveyard orbit in 1971, 22,000 miles above the Earth, and then forgotten. Literally, by everyone. Far below, the military base also met its end. Decommissioned, boarded up, the radar installation silenced, cut off, left to decay behind a series of chain-linked fences. And I know full well, like I get it, okay? These are just inanimate objects, and I shouldn't personify them. But I'm afraid I've recently developed a strong affinity for things deemed non-essential. I find myself sympathizing with discarded artifacts, rusting machinery, buildings sinking into anonymity, their sense of purpose, of self, all of it gone. Lord knows I wish I could go outside. And if I could, I'd find my way through those chain-link fences, the ones quarantining the radar installation. I'd make a hole in the concrete of that giant sarcophagus, and somewhere inside, somewhere within the pitch-black tangle of disemboweled hardware, the apex of a bygone technology, I'd locate that one switch with which to reanimate the entire installation, as if I were some kind of magical scientist, to signal to a lost spinning satellite that if it is still performing in the black vacuum of space, then we are still here to receive it, that all along we've been alone in this. Together. Recently, an amateur radio operator and satellite hunter named Scott Tilley had this to say, and I quote, "When you have a family and a busy business, you don't really have time to build your own antenna and then scour the internet looking for clues for the radio frequency for a lost satellite." But then came the pandemic, and suddenly Mr. Tilley did have time to build his antenna. Huh? Oh. That gives me an idea. You see, on March 24th, 2020, Mr. Tilley actually made contact with the long-lost LES-5. Its telemetry beacon is, somehow, still operating. That satellite's been calling out to us for 50 years, even though no one's been listening. Spinning round and round, locked in our planet's embrace. The last one at the party, dancing though no one's been watching. And I get it. We're all compelled to keep reaching out. It's in our programming, our DNA, whether by video out into the void of the internet or a message in a bottle into the fathomless deep blue sea. We're all striving to re-establish contact, someone we will one day meet at a party, their hand to shake, their body to embrace, a drink to share, a soul to kiss, a room full of physically present people with whom we will recall our days in isolation. Those days when we were all together alone. Those days when there were no parties.
Get out of here. Come on. Regret to inform you we cannot attend. Why? Is it me? Is it me? Now what is it? Why does anyone want to come to my party? Pandemic, right? Of course. That's still happening. How is that still happening? Where have you been? I don't know. I've been here. I don't know. What have I been doing? What's going on? I gotta go home. Mama, I don't want to go home. That basement is colorless down there. And I can't bear the thought of spending any more time with just myself. But on the other hand, I literally have no idea where to go. I don't know where I am or what's going on. I've lost track of everything. But I got this project. I should go work on the project. Connect with people. That's it. Which way? No. Is it that way? No, it's that way. Where am I? What's going on? I can't tell. Up this way. Gross. Am I lost or is it the countryside? What's going on? Pricker bushes. Ugh. Help. Ugh. Green. So many bushes. Why? Where am I? I've lost all sense of direction. I can't remember if did I go this way? Why so many bushes? Ugh. Ah, my back. my shoes. I don't know, where am I? What's happening? I can't remember. I need help. I'm lost. I'm so lost. Someone please help me. Wait a minute. Wait, I know where I am. I'm home. But, oh no. Oh God, I left the door open. Oh, what a disaster. Ugh, what is wrong with me? Oh, come on. Oh, God. Why do I do that? I should have closed the door. I need a rake and a... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. What? Who is that? Is that me? What? Why is he going into my house? What's going on? Hi. What are you doing? Where's your a mask? Your hat.
I don't have a hat.
Well, get a hat. They're out on the line. They're clean.
Aren't they wet?
How are we supposed to tell each other apart?
Well, easy don't. I'm not you, so it's easy to. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Am I you?
You know what? I'm sick of this. I'm the only one taking any of this seriously. And from now on, clean your own dishes.
But I didn't use any dishes.
And get a hat. He's not wearing a hat. He's supposed to wear a hat.
You want a back rub?
I don't want a back rub.
You seem stressed out.
And I'm not stressed out. And you better be there at the meeting.
Are you someone different than him? Than me? Where's your hat? Oh, it's on the line, maybe.
Well, I, for one, am very glad that we are meeting tonight. Sorry to interrupt, guys, but either of you constipated? No? No? I'm backed up like it's I-95 on New Year's. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, what's going on here?
What do you mean? You all look exactly like me. Where have you been? Wait, did you write that note? What note? In this bottle. Oh, you brought wine.
No, it's empty.
Hey. Oh,
Sorry, I just got it out of the ocean.
ugh.
How long were you down there?
Since almost like the beginning of this pandemic.
Oh, wow. So you really don't know what's going on here, do you?
Tweezers! God! I need a Band-Aid!
Is he okay?
Well, it's not good. We've fractured into multiple different versions of ourselves.
How did that happen?
That's what isolation will do to a social creature. And it's not sustainable. The amount of food that we're going through, the state of this place, have you seen it? It's a wreck. People keep leaving the front door open.
Is that what the meeting's about tonight?
We're deciding which one of us gets to stay.
And what happens to everyone else?
Back down to the basement.
And what happens there?
I don't know. Orgy?
With ourselves?
I said I don't know. Perhaps we cease to exist.
Wow.
But I'm hoping it's orgy.
So are we like having like a vote then or something?
Exactly. Whoever gets the most votes in the house stays in the house.
But won't everyone just vote for themselves? Hey, you guys don't know if we have any like prune juice in the house, do we?
No.
I don't know.
So I'm letting everybody know, including you, right now, that I am selling my vote.
You are?
I don't need to stick around. I'm not important. And so I'm going to give my vote to the highest bidder.
For like money?
No. We all have the same bank account. So what are you asking for then? Just, I don't know. Just, what? Just, you know. What? Just, no, what, you know. No, what, you know. Sex? No. Okay. Come on. No. Just. Then what? Just. It's just like a. What? No, I can't. What do you say? Huh? No. I can't. Huh? Well, I don't know what you're saying. No, I can't. What's that? Huh? Who? No, I don't. I can't. Cuddle? Oh, no, cuddle? No. What? No, I don't want to do. No, I don't want to do that. No. We don't even know each other.
We know each other better than anybody.
Yes, we do.
I would never just ask.
Apologies.
No.
I just, I've been reduced down to this quintessential part of ourselves, and has everyone here been reduced down to some? I miss touch. It's all I think about. Because I haven't been. I'm the same as always.
It just seems that way, but I tell you, you're missing something just the same as all of us.
No, I'm fine. I'm just. Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Oh. I just want to, hold your hand.
That's
all.
I don't know.
I'm a little uncomfortable with it. I don't. It feels weird. I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah. Look, I understand. Like I recognize that part of myself in you right now that needs. I'm lonely. All I'm really focused on is this project that I'm working on. It's the whole reason I came back to this house.
Please.
Does this mean you'll vote? You'll vote for me?
No, this has nothing to do with the vote. It's just because I might die if I don't feel someone outside of my own skin.
Fine. Okay, fine. I just want you to understand that I've got sort of unfinished business here. I was planning like an online performance thing, like a monologue or like storytelling. You know what I mean?
something that is meant to sort of like express like what I'm feeling, what we're all feeling about these like weird, strange times right now, and then I make people understand it's a shared experience, even though we're all by ourselves, feeling isolated and whatnot. We're actually all together in this, and maybe in the end have like a party or something like that. Like physically bring people together in a room, like a party, like a dancing. People swapping stories, conversing, communing.
Like a sleepover?
No, like a party.
Everyone in one bed?
Like a party. No. No.
Tummy rubs?
No, okay, all right, okay, no, all right. No.
I gotta go shower, okay? It's been like a year.
Can I come?
No, you cannot come.
But who's gonna scrub your back?
I heard that.
Oh gosh. I don't even know who you are. Okay.
You know who I am.
No, I don't. No. No.
Whoa, a little privacy, huh?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm all backed up. Yeah, like it's the Golden State Parkway, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Do we have a wife
Yeah.
and a daughter?
Yeah.
She's 1,
2.
2. I meant 2. She's 2.
You forgot?
No. No.
You forgot.
Well, maybe. But just like a little bit, for like a second I did.
Probably best not to bring that up at the meeting tonight when you're making your case. Yeah? Not gonna sound good.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, you don't happen to have like a small spoon, do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I'm all backed up like it's Route 66 during a motorcycle rally.
Okay, I gotta get to work. Here. Not good.
I heard that. Don't remember our wife and kid?
I remember them. Hello, I'm the one who just brought them up. Okay, what have you been doing, huh? Just sitting there, eavesdropping on everybody, right? And just, well, you know what I'm gonna say. You know what you're doing.
Taking care of our family?
No. What? They're not even here.
Yes, they are.
Where?
You're not paying attention.
You're just reading a magazine. That's what I was gonna say before, okay? And you're just sitting, you're being like a couch potato, instead of being out there, making art.
She's napping. I've been up since it was dark. Give me a second to sit and
Well, I wish I could just
relax
sit around, just lounge around, but I'm working on a project right now, and I feel like I've wasted enough time as it is. Got to get moving on it.
We gotta sort out this house first.
Yeah, I know there's a meeting tonight, okay? We gotta decide which one of us gets to live and move on. But you wanna know something? You're not getting my vote. You've been very rude.
And you've been very inattentive.
I'm gonna remember that!
Oh, God. What are you looking at?
Oh, don't mind me.
Oh, come on, please, I want to be alone here.
You are alone.
No, I'm with you.
No. It's the same thing with me, you, whatever. I'm not like some other person. I'm you, okay?
How'd you just get over there?
Oh, don't worry about that.
Oh, come on. Do you have to keep filming right now?
It's what I
Please?
do. I'm like the documentarian. To which end, might I ask, how are you feeling?
No comment.
I'm making a documentary.
No.
Please?
No.
Look, don't let him make you feel bad. We've all been maybe not as attentive as we should be.
This pandemic's got me all turned upside down and inside out.
Okay, now we're talking. All right, good. Listen, you're not alone.
Yeah, well, I feel pretty alone.
I'm right here with you, right?
No offense, but you don't exactly count.
No offense taken.
And what's that on your head?
I couldn't find a hat.
No, the viewers of this documentary should see this, man, because you look ridiculous. Okay?
No, don't. Please don't take the camera. No, I don't want to be. Listen, don't.
I don't want to be in the documentary.
Well, I don't want to be in it either.
Oh, come on.
What? You're a performer, right?
No, you see, like, you're a performer, not me.
I thought we're the same.
No, like, you're that part of us, okay? I'm a different part. Do you mind if I get high?
Now? It's not even dark.
What's that got to do with it?
You're a real pothead, aren't you?
Can I get the camera back, please? Thank you.
Man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to take this all out on you. It's just the last time I was here in this house, you know, it was just me.
And our wife.
And my wife.
And our daughter.
And the three of us, fine, okay, you know, and it was just after everything started going crazy and you know, no one was scared. No one knew what was going to happen. And we were told to go into lockdown and quarantine. And we've got this defunct radar installation here in the military base just here in town. And I thought, what if I could hook up to that somehow and put the word out there for anybody else that's feeling, you know, lost, alone, isolated, fractured. And I don't know, you know. I thought I'd maybe have a party, bring everybody together. If I made any mistake, maybe it was using a bottle with a note, you know, in the thing to bring everybody together for a party. But
You can't throw parties now.
well, yeah, I found that out. You know, I just didn't realize it would take so long to get the message back. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Sure. You remember that we have a wife and kid?
Yeah. Sure. I play with her sometimes, you know, when I remember to.
I could do better, you know.
She's in there right now.
She is?
You don't hear her?
Right now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Did you hear that? Is that her?
Yeah.
Should I go in there?
Sure. But just, you know, don't freak out if you don't see her.
Most of us can't.
So when you were a bigger baby, I was a little tiny baby, and I used to just like lay down and put my hand like right down to the floor, and I said, and you said, well, what should we put on? And I was a little tiny baby, and I said things. And it was my first song. It was like my first song. I feel like a good song. And I was a really tiny baby. I'm playing a song on here. And I just did this with it. And I just cleaned with it. I like to clean when I was a baby. But I like to clean when I was a baby. Look. Look at him right there. Look at Baby Yoda. That's my friend. And this guy. He's like a bad dog.
You're Tom. That's your name.
I don't want to play with Tom.
Tom.
I don't want to play with him because he's just like a bad guy. He just lays down and it's like he wants to lay down. It has a rattle in it. Is it rattle? Look, it's the doggy.
Carlos the monkey. Yeah, I remember now.
Carlos the monkey. That's a wind chime. That's our wind chimes. And know what you do with this? Carlos the monkey? Go like this. You see that? Carlos the monkey? So I play music, so you turn to sing. Look at it. Look. What's that doing? That's a yawn. That's a yawn. Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Hold it up to the light.
Wow, you really trying to eat Mama? Are you trying to eat Mama right now? You gonna eat her for lunch?
Love you, Mama.
All right, people. Let's do this. It's time, everybody. Come on down. Come on, everybody. Meeting time. When do we get a cat? Come on. Go, it's meeting time. Let's go, people. Oh, come on. Look, if you're gonna booze it, you gotta lose it, people. I'm not cleaning up anymore. Ugh. This wine smells like low tide. Let's go, people. Come on.
Okay, come on. The meeting is starting. Okay? Yeah, come on down. Yeah, come on.
Don't start without me! Well, hurry up. I'm gonna need the can in a moment. All right, let's get the show on the road. Help hurt. My elbow. My elbow. Nah. Both my elbows. No. All right. Don't help me up. I'm fine. Come on, let's do this.
Okay then, let's do this. Okay guys, I just got the little girl to bed, so let's try to keep it down, please.
All right, grab a place, everybody. Come on.
Everyone here? Everyone's here.
Everyone's
here. Would you take that off? You look like a
Anyone
pothead.
have a Band-Aid?
We're all here.
Ah, man.
All the hats are on the line.
Wait for the elbow.
Come on, everybody. All right, let's do it. Gather around.
2 elbows.
We're all here. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're going to go around the circle and we're each going to make a brief case as to why we each should be the one to represent ourselves to the world, and then we will vote. And each person only gets one vote, right? And you can vote for yourself. And if we all vote for ourselves, then no one wins, right? And then we all stay down here, right? Wouldn't be the worst thing, so long as you guys don't mind snuggling, right? Who wants to go first? Well, I'll go first. I think that since none of us really know what's going to happen to us down here, whether we're going to cease to exist or whether we're going to have like a real gangbang. I'm the only one who seems really connected to our body.
Speak for yourself. I'm backed up like a line of 18-wheelers on a dirt road in the monsoon.
Okay. A specific part of our
There is a child
body
in the house.
I think we all agree that the parts of our lives where we felt most alive were those parts when we were having sex. And yet none of you seem to want to do that anymore. Begging the question, are any of you even alive?
I don't know. I think I've had some pretty intense physical moments that, while not always pleasant, have certainly put me in touch with this machine here. I know best of all what it takes to keep this body running. The rest of you, it's like mind, body, two separate things. Like we're grounded, like a B-52 bomber with too much payload. You know what I'm saying? Next.
Well, I guess I'll go next. Without me, there would be no memories. I'm the sense of history. I'm the record keeper. I'm what separates us from the animals and the rocks and the nothingness.
Come on, you're always being high in the pot pipe.
Well, it's a peace pipe, really. It's like a talking stick, something to gather around and swap tales.
Listen, I got passion, all right? I'm not all like, oh, let's gather around the peace stick or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, what the rest of you guys, what are y'all like? Worried about ruffling feathers all the time. You know what I mean? Like, where's your gusto? Huh? Why don't you go out there and live a little bit? You guys all seem like you're half dead half the time. You know what I mean? Like, let's just vote for me and let's be done with it. Next.
I'm the only one here taking care of our kid. I don't know how you all seem to have forgotten. We have a wife and a daughter. I'm sorry. I don't want to not vote for all of us. Vote for me because I don't want to not be here. I don't want you to not be here either because you're all a part of me, right? Even if some of those parts are a little annoying, I recognize that there's something I'm missing. Like, I miss getting fired up and stuff. I miss having connection to my body. I miss remembering. I don't remember things. I miss having sex. I don't remember the last time. I miss my wife and child, and I miss this. I miss being in a room with other people, even if all the other people are just me. I miss talking. I miss banter. I miss parties. I miss get-togethers. I miss telling stories. I miss so much, and I don't want to be just by myself anymore. Which is not the best pitch for voting for me. I get it, but then don't. I guess
Okay. Hey. No more talking. All right, it's time to do this. Time to vote. And I, for one, am making a very emphatic and enthusiastic vote for myself, and I assume you will all do the same. And not vote for yourself. Probably vote for me is what you know what I'm saying.
Well, I'm voting for myself.
Huh? What?
Well, I'm voting for myself.
What?
Are you kidding me? I'm voting for myself too.
What?
Hey, I'm as inclined as the rest of you to vote for myself.
What?
But if our mission here as human beings is to connect to other human beings, then I gotta vote for my man
Me?
over here.
No.
No. So who do you vote for then? Yourself, probably, right? So that would be 2 votes and you'd win. Well, I don't know who I don't want to vote for anybody. I want to.
Huh? What?
Wait. What is it? Wait. You don't hear that? You didn't hear that?
No more waiting. Let's just get this over with.
No, I don't hear anything. She's crying. Really? She woke up. Really? What do we do?
You can just whisper. It's fine. Babies are designed to go back to sleep. That's why they've got cribs. Huh? Come on.
I gotta go check on her, guys.
But we're voting. I can't even hear it.
Her. I can't even hear her.
I'm not hearing anything.
It's probably just the house settling.
There's a lot to settle in this house.
Guys, I gotta go.
Wait, we all agreed. Nobody leaves here until there's a winner, right?
Wait, excuse me, everybody. I haven't voted yet. I still have a vote, right? And I'm voting for you. I'm voting for him, everyone. I'm voting for him. You win. Please go up and
what?
Live a life together. Come on, everybody. Thank you. If this pandemic has taught us anything, right? It's family. It's the people that you're together with in these little groups, and that's us. That's us together up there with her, right?
Now, come on!
That's the way it should be. Rock and roll, baby. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. Hold on now. Hold on.
What about it?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really. Hang on there, baby. Hang on. Thank you. I'm coming.
What about us?
Well played.
Ah!
Cleared out a corner in the basement, guys, because I got to unload like a postal truck on Christmas.
Well, I guess that's it then. I guess we're all just stuck down here together forever. No different than it's always been.
Hey now, you seem stressed out. You want a back rub?
Does it look like I need a back rub?
You seem stressed out.
Fine! I will accept your back rub!
Hey, before when we were talking, you were telling me about that guy who makes the antennas, and then you were wondering if that radar installation at the military base that's abandoned here in town might still be working. Well, anyway, after we spoke, I went and poked around. I found a power switch, and I turned it on, and it turns out we're good to go. The whole thing works. So you want to broadcast something right now? Oh, really? Yeah, let's do it.
To the left.
Really? Yeah? Yeah, this will be great. Great. I'll put this in my film.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right. Oh, that's all right. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. It's just a little higher.
Thank you.
Little higher. Yep. That's all right. Wow. You've got very powerful hands. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. Oh, wow. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Yeah, that's a knot. Yeah.
You are not alone in feeling alone, accompanied solely by the ever-increasing volume of the voices in your head. Who you are today, a variation on who you were yesterday, each as exaggerated, as absurd, as desperate, as authentic, as comically tragic, and seriously ridiculous as who you will be tomorrow. Time is measured by the growth of your beard, of your plants, of your longing, which stretches longer and longer for something real, something tangible, something you can hold in your hands, a person, a friend, your parents, your lover, your child, an ideal, a sense of purpose. something to guide us when the lights have gone out, a voice to lead us through this darkest of seasons, the sound of laughter, of wind chimes, of a voice whispering in your ear. I am here, and you are here too, and we are here in this space together.